Hey everybody, it's Becky. I wanted to thank Dr. Shockett for allowing me to do my project this way. As most of you know, I'm out having some surgeries done, but that shouldn't stop the presentation. I went a little bit of a different direction with mine. I decided to do a Facebook page. I know that seems untraditional as a memory site, but I think if you stick with me here, you'll be able to see that people are using Facebook in ways we probably wouldn't have imagined before, and it is indeed a site of memory. The specific page that I'm going to talk about today is called "You Know You Are From Portsmouth, Ohio." If I am from Portsmouth, Ohio, and I knew that before this page, but it's a as you can see, there are over 8,500 members, and the purpose of the site is stated here. It reads, "This is a group dedicated to sharing memories on what made the Portsmouth area a special place to grow up, work in, and live in. We believe that there is more good than bad in this community, and recognizing that fact is our purpose here. We are here to have fun. By both educating and learning from each other, we hope to grow a better appreciation of where we came from, where we are today, and where we go in the future." One thing you have to know about Portsmouth, it's a place that many people are born in, and it's a place that many people have moved away from. The opportunities there, the economy is one of the worst in the country. The population and job opportunities are dwindling, and drugs and crime have really taken over the area in a big way. Many people remember a different Portsmouth, especially back in its golden years, in the earlier parts of the 20th century. They remember Portsmouth, the small town on the Ohio River that was full of life, adventures, and southern charm. The county lacks a proper historical society, so this site has sort of filled in that gap on a public level. Like I said, they have more than 8,000 members. It's an easily accessible repository for many people to post photos, old newspaper clippings, and other related information and posts related to the area and its history. And more importantly, to share and have conversations about those artifacts and memories with people whom are now scattered all over the world, quite literally. When it comes to content, the three most commonly used areas of the page are the main landing page here, and you can see like right off the bat, these are old pictures at Lake Roosevelt, which is in Shawnee State, Roy Rogers area. My grandpa actually went to elementary. These are some old newspaper clippings. Some of them are really hard to read, but they're usually fairly interesting. There's probably a better one coming up. And as you can see, this park was right behind the house that I grew up. I had my very first kiss right here beside this tree. So it's a place of memory. This is right over the bridge, or one of the many bridges. But as you can see, it's a little bit of everything, and the numbers of people get this stuff as low as 11, but then you'll see that some of them are much more popular. The next area that is used quite often is the photo albums. So let's take a look at those. These are full, literally, thousands of photos, and the way that the guy with the newspaper clippings, the way he posts them is as images. There's landscape and architecture photos, advertising, everything you can think of when it comes to the history of Portsmouth. This is the old record shop. That was there when I was still a kid. It's gone now, but it was on the Esplanade. And my mom talked about going there when she was a kid. But as you can see, there's a lot of different stuff. That's the old high school. Some of the Dreamland is a big topic of conversation. It was a double Olympic-sized pool. And the daughter of the people that owned it actually recently posted a whole series of photos from when the pool was closed to visitors, and she got they had some really awesome old photos of that. But as you can see, there's a little bit of everything, even current events. There's a lot of track racing down there as well. The other The one of the problems with this, and we'll talk more about file storage later, is that these are literally full. One of the limits of Facebook for a group like this is that you can only have 5,000 images. So the admins have to go through periodically and remove certain things. They've explained it before, things that don't have a lot of likes or, a lot of conversation, they'll remove those to keep some of the more popular items on top and still visible for others, because Facebook doesn't discriminate, it just takes your oldest stuff. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different kinds of albums, and they've even got a section of videos that people have posted. Everything from the kid that was on American Idol playing in the hardware store to historical footage of boats and the floods, all kinds of stuff. There's even scanned copies of menus from restaurants that have been closed for 50 years. I found in the files section here, this was the third section I wanted to talk about, this is where the scanned menus are. There are lists of children from orphanages from the 1920s. There are some classes that have used this platform to locate each other. There's all kinds of different stuff here. So the three most commonly used areas are the main page, the photos, and the files. Okay, the information limits that I was just talking about, that is one of the major drawbacks of using Facebook for this platform, instead of using like a website. Because it's a Facebook site, it's limited in the number of photos that can be archived. But on the other hand, because it is a Facebook site, it has a wide audience. Literally anyone in the world can get to this. And it's easy to use and understand because the audience is already familiar with the format. There are 9 administrators on the site, and they do a good job of keeping the best photos available in the archives by regularly screening out the duplicate posts or photos that receive a limited interest or comments. It's doubtful that if this site were transitioned to a dedicated site off Facebook, that they would be able to maintain the same interaction rates and audience reach. People are on Facebook anyway, and this is a common meeting place. Instead of trying to get people to drive traffic to a standalone website, Facebook has on its side, this page has on its side that everybody's on Facebook anyway, especially, people of a certain age. With accessibility, the only issue is that you have to be a Facebook member to get to this page. It is a public group, so they allow anyone who wants to join. And the fact that you have to be a Facebook member really isn't a huge commitment. You can sign up for free. You can use, they say you have to use your real name, but you don't have to give any information on your site, that kind of thing. So, the risk is pretty low. Then you have to join the group itself, but like I said, it's a public group with open membership. Once you join the group, though, you have access to all the archives, the posts, the ability to interact with the other 8,000 members on the site, and the ability to see only your posts or posts that your friends have posted. For example, if I wanted to see just stuff that I had posted, and honestly, I don't interact a lot, I stalk this page a lot. But when I was doing research for my thesis, I posted about the Underground Railroad in Scioto County. And I actually ended up citing this in my thesis, talking about a conversation. Let me see if I can get it to come up here. Here we go. I had a conversation with a professor at Shawnee State University about the history, and his quote actually ended up in my thesis. Well, I can't find it. But then you can see that, and you can just see posts that were made by your friends. Let's see here. And talking about, and then I could just, look at, documentation really varies. Some posts are fully cited and verified, including information on who took the photo and when, but others have zero documentation, and they'll even say, I found this on eBay, it says Portsmouth, Ohio, what can you guys tell me about it? And those seem to be really popular because people inspect them, they try to figure out what buildings were there, based on the businesses, they sometimes figure out what time frame it was, or they'll bunk it and they'll say, this wasn't taken in Portsmouth. So, plus it's a good place for research because there's a lot of stuff in the files. And if you have questions, people are really responsive. There's a lot of people that know a lot of history of Portsmouth that isn't written down. So this is a good place to ask questions, and I've used it several times. Data management, as I mentioned before, the limits that Facebook imposes on the number of archived photos limits how extensive the archives can be. Otherwise, the information capability is really limitless. There are no limits on the number of posts that can be shared or the number of members that can join. Other than that, all the data is managed by Facebook and the page administrators. There's no cost to anyone outside of Facebook to run this page. And sustainability, finally. I can't imagine that Facebook is really going anywhere for a long while. I know it's waning in popularity with a younger generation, but it's, I mean, so popular with older people, it's just not going anywhere. So this page, I believe, could potentially exist as long as Facebook does. The membership is very diverse, from the very elderly to the very young, and Portsmouth history is ongoing. Local history is always a popular topic, and I can't see why this page would be abandoned or not continue to progress in the future, especially because there are no costs associated with the upkeep. They could pass admin duties along to interested parties as times change, as long as there is interest in the topic. So that is my presentation of You Know You Are From Portsmouth, Ohio If. It has a goofy name, but it really is a cool place to go if you want information about Scioto County, if you want information about Portsmouth, if you're looking to find old friends, especially if you're of the older generation, this is a good place for them to meet, or if you're just feeling a little homesick. Or if you want to watch a Roy Rogers GIF. So I on that note, thanks again, Dr. Shockett, for letting me do my presentation this way. You have a good class. Bye.